Look, it's been a weird night.
Sounds like Freddy's.
What came first, the chicken or the egg? Yeah, about that. All we get in return is more rabbit holes, but how about we decipher this in film terms? It's another showdown, and with that comes deciding on if the imitator does it better than the originator. Even though prior Ripoff segments discussed very similar components between the two, this upcoming showdown is just a downright spitting image of one another. One of these films is based on a global, best-selling video game, and has created a massive following. It also just shattered Halloween box office numbers, while simultaneously streaming on Peacock. The next is an indie-style film that brings an old Hollywood A-lister back from the dead, and is now again a prominent force on the silver screen, due to this film's word of mouth. Nothing like a true-life Hollywood underdog story to add some weight to your showdown. We're discussing and analyzing two films involving psychotic, bloodthirsty animatronics, hellbent on ripping your guts out. Let's dive in and see which one reigns victorious.
Where to? Why do I always get the weirdos?
Five Nights at Freddy's was first adapted into a video game back in 2015 by creator Scott Cawthon, resulting in a worldwide notoriety for its grim, dark nature, involving animatronic animals that murder you. In the film adaptation, Five Nights at Freddy's tells the story of security guard Mike Schmidt, who loses his mall security gig for mistaking a father for a child abductor and beats the ever-loving piss out of him. Mike suffers from PTSD from when his younger brother was abducted in front of him at a local park. For Mike to keep custody of his younger sister, he takes a job at Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, which is an abandoned family entertainment establishment with dancing animatronic animals. Over the course of a few nights, Mike Schmidt discovers that those animatronic animals are alive and stalking the halls at Freddy's undetected to make their next victim into human confetti via a torturous robot suit. Mike comes to discover the many sinister secrets the animatronics possess, including a direct connection to Mike and Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. In Willy's Wonderland, we have a drifter that is referred to as the janitor by the end of the movie. The janitor's car breaks down, and he is offered in exchange for a free fix by the local mechanic named Jed to clean up the abandoned family entertainment complex called Willy's Wonderland, owned by Tex McAdoo. They promise the car will be waiting for him once the establishment is cleaned up top to bottom the next morning. The janitor agrees and stays the night cleaning the ins and outs with the help of his special purple soda drink and some rags and some cleaning spray. The janitor becomes stuck in the crosshairs of furry animatronic creatures who want to eat the janitor. The janitor meets a group of ragtags who break into the building to destroy Willy and his furry friends due to their parents being eaten and used as human sacrifices. It's up to the janitor to make it out safely before the night is over, while also discovering Willy's tragic and horrifying past. Writer Geo Parsons said there wasn't any similarities to the film when it was compared to Five Nights at Freddy's, and that coincidentally, he came up with the idea in 2015, while Five Nights at Freddy's was being developed at the same time. The characters in both Five Nights at Freddy's and Willy's Wonderland are interesting. However, it's Nicolas Cage who gives the best performance. Both characters must be in their haunted, creepy establishments during the night to watch over the place and interact with those pesky evil robots. The janitor in Willy's annihilates them one by one, while Mike in Five Nights, played by Josh Hutcherson, is attacked, as well as given clues to their backstories through his nightly dozes. Though you're not supposed to sleep on the job, dude. The janitor in Willy's Wonderland doesn't speak for its 2-hour runtime, taking a play right out of Ryan Gosling's character in Drive. The janitor just wants to drink his purple soda, play pinball, and relentlessly destroy those creepy animatronics by using fisticuffs, leg stomps, and sticks. Mike in Five Nights at Freddy's is just a misguided man, constantly dreaming about the day his brother was taken. He has that hard shell on the outside, but appears to be a softie on the inside, especially towards his sister Abby, who befriends the robots by the time the end credits roll. Even though we get Nick Cage as a smoldering stoic man that you don't want to cross, he too displays that soft side by helping Liv, the misguided teenager whose parents were devoured as human sacrifices at the hands of Willy and his furry friends. He also likes to dance around while getting high scores on that awesome pinball machine during his much-needed break. The janitor displays heart like any good doer when he cleans up a room, then destroys it during his melees, then proceeds to clean it up again. The janitor keeps his end of the deal, living up to his side of the bargain. That Nick Cage sure is a saint, isn't he?
Welcome to Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, a magical place for kids and grown-ups alike.
I think what separates these two films is tone. Five Nights at Freddy's is a Blumhouse production, which is known for their dark tone in horror, as well as suspense. Freddy's captures the tone of the game perfectly, giving off that creepy factor, and the production quality shows throughout its scenes. It basks in the darkness, those gloomy and dim-lit hallways for our animatronic friends to lurk about. Willy's Wonderland is soaked in bright, oversaturated colors, and doesn't take itself too seriously. But it's more energetic and chaotic, especially during the fight scenes. And Nicolas Cage just smolders, not talking in any of his scenes, drinking mass amounts of soda, playing pinball, and always getting a new staff shirt. The viewer is inclined to laugh and take it for what it is. With Freddy's, there isn't much humor, or at least until the robots befriend Mike's sister, Abby. The animatronics decide to create a fort with her, which throws the viewer off, but hey, I'll move past it and forget about it. Everything else about Freddy's is serious in tone, and more of a tame, suspense thriller mystery. It's a strange coincidence when both protagonists have a sidekick with them, both of which share tainted pasts in their own respective films.
This town has a dark history.
Liv, in Willy's Wonderland, had her parents murdered, and made it a testament to burning the place to the ground when she got older, so that no other family has to endure what she has been through. In Five Nights at Freddy's, Mike meets Vanessa Afton, who is a cop looking to uncover the truth at Freddy's, and the missing children that disappeared there. By the end of the film, she reveals herself as the child abductor's daughter. Vanessa has that guilt attached to her throughout her life, as her father William abducted and killed those missing children. The bodies are hidden in the animatronics at Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. He was also responsible for abducting Mike's brother Garrett, directly connecting Mike to the establishment. Both Liv and Vanessa display characteristics of that fierce, tough woman who can kick some ass when needed, as well as help the main protagonists on their quest, even if their moral compasses are not on the straight and narrow. We can say both Five Nights at Freddy's and Willy's Wonderland are known for their villainous portrayals of the animatronic entertainers on that stage. Both play music, both look insanely creepy, and both have personal vendettas against the adults and children alike. In Freddy's, the robots are the souls of brainwashed children that were abducted, killed, and stored in the animatronics by William Afton, which are all under his control.
Yeah.
In Willy's Wonderland, the owner was a cannibalistic serial killer who would bring children and unsuspecting families into a special room where they were killed. When the cops caught on, Willy and his cannibal buddies drank some special punch during a satanic ritual and transferred their souls into the animatronics to create more havoc. The catch is that Tex, Jed, and a local sheriff made a deal with Willy where they would keep feeding Willy and his friends passerbys if they stayed inside the building rather than going out and creating havoc on the innocent townspeople. Both movies are very simplistic in plot, which is a standard in most horror flicks, but the kicker here is they have some great themes resonating throughout their runtimes. Both play on the importance of loneliness, as well as entrapment, while our protagonists are at Willy's and Freddy's. Both are stuck within their positions of employment or agreement, and are unable to leave their environments. In addition, they're imprisoned mentally and physically. There's nothing more fearful than being stuck in a position where you're isolated and locked inside with bloodthirsty robots, looking to devour their human bait. Also, they emphasize the importance of strangers and the repercussions of dealing with them. In Five Nights at Freddy's, Mike lost his brother Garrett to a stranger, who is later uncovered to be Mike's career counselor, Steve Raglan. Steve Raglan's real name is William Afton, the child abductor who is the main villain of the film. In Willy's Wonderland, the janitor is forced to do a deal with two complete strangers, Tex McAdoo, the owner of Willy's, and Jed, the local car mechanic. These two individuals eventually try to use the janitor as a human sacrifice. Unbeknownst to them, the janitor is a total ass kicker, and foils their plans by the end of the film by making the animatronics his own personal mechanical doormats. We have a real Deep Impact versus Armageddon situation here. Is Willy's Wonderland a blatant ripoff of Freddy's? It seems so, but it works so well. In fact, it does some components better. The premise for both are nearly identical, but they go off their own beaten path once the protagonists enter their kid-friendly establishments. Five Nights at Freddy's is enjoyable, and has some good creepy moments involving the animatronics lurking around corners and moving ever so slightly when you least expect them to. But Willy's Wonderland just hits all the right notes, involving a rage-induced Nicolas Cage. It's almost like Willy's Wonderland was the Five Nights at Freddy's we deserved, but instead we got a mid-tier, very tame horror flick, with Blumhouse's iteration. Willy's Wonderland harkens back to those 80s horror movies, where it's so stupid and campy, but it's great. A movie that showcases a very simplistic plot, with a mute Nicolas Cage kicking all sorts of animatronic ass, while Five Nights at Freddy's just holds so much back that it looks like it's begging to be more. I also enjoyed the melee portions of Willy's, which seemed so much more chaotic, which is totally fitting when you're battling hell-bent robots looking to end your life. I can't say if the creators of Willy's Wonderland blatantly ripped off Five Nights at Freddy's, because maybe it was that perfect time when the stars aligned, and we got both of these ideas created at the same time. It's easy when you go with your family to Chuck E. Cheese and think to yourself, hey, this would make a great horror concept. It's just a shame that Five Nights at Freddy's took a little while to get off the production ground, while Willy's got the upper hand and came out 2 years earlier, because it's an indie feature and it's easier to get funded and fast-tracked. Let's just be grateful that we have a movie in Nick Cage's filmography where he's silent for 2 hours, drinks soda pop constantly, and beats the shit out of robots in some awesome ways, with oil fluid drenching him after every encounter. Now that's a damn good time.